The Highway Life, based on a true story.
Coming along?
Mom said not to be taking a ride from no strangers.
This is the bus to the Highway Life.
I'm Bolo. Bolo Big.
I'm Joey Smalls. It's about to go down.
Yo, what is good, y'all? Anyways, for those of you that are joining this series late, I work next to the airport and that shit goes. I just got back from Home Depot. Almost tore my windshield out. Some guy cut me off and the wood almost went through. I didn't want to take the bus because I had too much shit in it. I only can work for a couple of hours today because I got Joey Smalls lacrosse playoff game. In this episode, I'm going to show you in detail why I did what I did with my wall and the detailed stuff that I did throughout the week after work, an hour here, an hour there. I didn't record it, but I'm also going to show you how I adjust my wheel well on the passenger side. I already did the driver's side during the week just because it was a little bit more complicated because I was putting my toolbox on top of it. I forgot to kind of go more in detail last week. So as you can see, my bus naturally sits kind of like this. Not so much like this, but like this. The majority of the buses that I've seen and take notice of, the ass sits higher, so you're at a slant. So you're like, well, I'll just level the bus off, and then I'll work on it that way. Even if you find a level ground to work with, your bus is still going to be slanted. So you're like, well, that's okay. Not really, because again, your bus is slanted. So if you get to a hill and are parked so where you are leveled, you still got to be able to guarantee yourself that all your tire pressures are the same. There's no wear and tear. Your leaf springs are the same. Your struts are the same. Your springs, whatever, are the same. Otherwise, you're not truly leveled. But even then, your shit might be crooked on the frame or your floor or what have you. If you guys don't believe me, park on what you think is a level surface and use a marble. You know those things that you play with, marble. I can't pronounce it, dude. Use a ball. Place it on the floor and see which way it rolls. It's gonna roll towards the front of your bus. It's just how it was built. So how did I counteract that? I addressed it from the very, very beginning, from the moment I demolished the bus. Everything I built is strictly 100% flat, or 99.99% flat, squared, measured, you name it. That's why it took me so long to get to this point, from restoration to fixing holes to framing to using the bus's beam. So that I was perfectly squared for this exact point that I'm at. These lines that you guys have always seen, it doesn't just tell me where my beams and my studs are. I placed them originally so every piece, every line is squared to the floor, to the bus, to the sides, to everything. So when I start placing these structures, I know exactly where I need to place them. I know what my measurements are. So when I place my wall, I'm squared. I'm squared to the back, I'm squared to the corner, I'm squared to everything. And I know what my measurements are. When I do my cabinets, my wall is squared. My floor is squared, flat. So putting pieces like that up top or what have you, you're already there. So I just have to measure off my wall and my studs. Same thing with any cabinets I run along the side. Just everything, guys. That's why it's so important. For me, again, I don't use levels. I use T-squares, I use triangle squares, I use boxes, I use whatever. It is the most convenient way to build this bus. My rear wall is complete for the bedroom garage area. I did a few things a couple of hours a day after work without you guys. It's nothing fancy or anything like that. I squared my wall off using the window, using the window on each side, and my beam up top, my rib up top, and all my lines that I've drawn previously. So to explain what some of these pockets are, this pocket here will be closed off. Well, first off, these are the legs for my bed. It is 2 foot off the floor. So once I want the beam to go across, well, it started to go across. When I want my wood to go across, it'll be about this high. So these 2 pockets here are gonna be accessible from the bedroom area. I'll probably use it for my keys, my wallets, my alarm clock, with the wall on the other side. However, this pocket here would be accessible from the outside, with the paneling on the inside, maybe for canned goods or bottled waters or what have you. Same thing on this side. This particular pocket is going to get a board from the other side, and the board from this side will come from that there all the way to here. I'm using it as my sock chute. I can drop my socks on from the top and it'll go down to the bottom. That'll be my next piece, next sock I can use. This framing here is for my window, so that I have access to the front. And this pocket here will be accessed from the other side. I've put this here because it lines up to that frame piece there, and the back, because that's where my top storage bunker or whatever is gonna be. It's gonna come out to only about here and then straight back. This wall here I'm not sure if I'm gonna panel it from the other side or not, but you see some of these blocks here, it's gonna help hold my water tank. Here we'll have the wall on the other side, so I could use that for storage from the garage area. This piece here will get a piece on this side, so I can use it from the other side, maybe for like a spice rack or what have you. And then the top piece will also be used from the front side with a paneling in there. And those blocks aren't really for anchoring. It's so that when I put my wall from the top up, they'll have a place for me to tack the boards. Same thing on the other side. You see that gap up top? Again, the header there, which is not traditional, because it really should be have another 2x4 holding that up. I'm not using it as weight bearing. What I'm going to do is drill through the top and run my wiring. Before I forget, you remember the 2 blocks that I used to anchor the bottom leg, bottom of my my framing. The next point up where 2 blocks would fit to anchor is right there. And then I'll have to build one up there in the corner, but it's not a big deal right now. I know I'm fully squared off and parallel, perpendicular, whatever. So same thing on the other side. We got to mention this slot right here, guys, where the passenger rear wall is. That's where my hoses and my gas lines and electric or whatever is going to pass through, since this will be covered up. And here is a view from the inside of the bus of the frame, since this is a better view, guys. So my cabinet is going to run off that 2x3 all the way over to this wall frame and over, and that'll be my storage. It won't be encumbersome. Yeah, you like that word? Where I couldn't sit up on the bed or what have you. It's not gonna be. I like that open concept, so I'm not. I mean, yeah, I could bring it all the way over here, but I don't want it to be that big. It's probably only gonna come out 2/3 of the way. That's for a later build because it's not important right now. But for the rear here, so my bed is gonna end there about 6 foot, 6 feet, 6 foot. So I'm just gonna pick up where the bed leaves off and then just come over with the same box, but this side is gonna go a little lower, only because since there's gonna be a wall here, I won't be able to see it anyway. As you guys can see, I've already framed out the box for my wheel well area. I used 2x4s because I needed to be strong. It's off the wheel well itself. Those lines that you see underneath the box were squared off from when I first built my subfloor. Those are on beams and the 2x4 and then the plywood, and then that's what it's sitting on. It's also supported by my 2x4 by that piece, as I said before I was doing. Since I've already done that, I've actually placed my toolbox there because I wanted to see how well it fit. I'm gonna take that back off and put some insulation in there. And that board there is just a 3/4 that I had left over. I'm not gonna do that side as aggressive as I did that side because this won't be any load bearing. I'm just gonna build a box and then anchor it to the chair armrest that I'm building, and then from the top of the wheel well to the window height will be my storage. I don't know if I'm gonna do drawers or what yet, but that's where I'm at. All I did was take the lid off and fill it with spray foam. You know, just the over the counter, the great stuff, the big gap filler. One can filled up pretty much half, which was like $5. I don't need it for insulation or anything like that. I mean, it's gonna help, but I did it more so that it could fill in voided space and help dampen the road noise from the wheel well. Yeah, so once that's dry, I'll do another can and then put the lid back on and then put my 2 chests back up. So I went from playing with cack to playing with wood. Yeah, I got no jokes for that.
For the skoolie build police out there, you're probably like, damn, Biggs, you got a lot of wood in there. You got 2x4s, 2x6, 2x10, 2 foot long, freaking Subway sandwiches. It's gonna be heavy, man. Don't do that. It's gonna be too heavy. You're gonna blow out your car. Then shut your 200-gallon water ass up. That shit is heavy. And I know exactly what the weight is on my bus. How many of you guys actually weighed your bus before demolition, after demolition, and each step of the way as you build things? I do. I know exactly how much my bus weighs. We good. I'm good. Get it? We good. I am guaranteeing myself a strong structure. This bad boy is supposed to last me a long time. If the transmission blows out or the engine blows out, I'm invested. I'll just get that shit replaced, but I know I got a strong structure and I got a well-built tiny home. Enough said. This is gonna be my armrest for my couch area, but more so, well, also an anchor point for the arms that go across that the wheel well for that box. It's laying flat right now, so pretend this is the piece. It's actually sitting up like this, and I've already pre-cut it. Off the wall to here is 24 inches. Same with the pieces. This piece here is 23.5, which I've compensated for the 1.5 here on the 2x4, and then the lid that's going to be for the armrest. And I can build it up if I don't like the height, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm just going to tack this together, place it, mark it, and then anchor it down. Okay, I'm just going to put the base down first. So every chance I get, I cheat to make my life a lot easier. What I like to do, since I'm one person, is use my grip, vice grips, quick grips. Lay my first board flat, my next piece butting it. I'll line it up and I'll squeeze it. Same thing on the other side on a flat surface. That way you don't get partial sticking out and so on. Everything is still in line. I don't have to worry about anything shifting or anything like that. Perfectly flush on both ends. Perfectly flush here. So if I do put a board on it afterwards, it's perfectly flat so that it'll go flush. Here is what my armrest and support looks like. I have not attached this piece yet, or the one in the middle. Get out of there, because I want to know how high. Planes, trains, now I got trains honking at me, because I want to make sure I have the height and the distance correct, similar to that, because I want to make sure I'm the same height and distance from the wall for the piece that runs straight across for the box. I want to make sure that is squared off. I'm gonna go ahead and place it to see how far off the wall I am.
So once that armrest section is in place, I can work on my couch and bed area. That piece is in place. I need to cut some of the foam out because I'm not squared. And then I'll check my height and distance. Okay, I didn't actually check, but because the couch was covering, the frame of the couch was covering, I forgot I had a line on the other side. So I am flush to that line, which actually makes me squared and flush to the wall. So now all I have to, oh shit, mother trucker. So now all I have to do is measure from that post there to the other side, and it should be of equal distance, that one to this one to that one. Oh man, my butt cheeks hurt. Tacked it down right there and right there, and of course I'm gonna anchor it to the wall. It is not for support, but more just so that it doesn't move. Again, I pre-marked everything. Everything is squared. So this piece here is what my lateral, man, why are you always trying to use big words, bro? The beam that's gonna go across is gonna tack to this piece. Reason why I don't have a top piece yet is because I'll address that when I actually do the couch armrest. 39 1/8. As this is the piece that's gonna run from that over here. It clears it by an inch, inch and a half, so that if I ever sit anything on it, even if it is a little bit of heavy weight, it would never ever touch the wheel well. I am going to anchor it there, but I'm also going to have it sit there to anchor. Same thing on both sides. It will help support that stress. That's what it looks like, guys. Got my arm rest slash end of the couch slash stabilizer for this wheel well area. The majority of the weight will be on the beam, metal beam underneath, my 2x4, and it will also sit on that support and hang on the wall, which is pretty damn solid to my other beam on the floor. I put a track there just for squaring off. Same thing on the other side, which actually led me to thinking I can use that for a track for drawers, so it'll be convenient. So I'm just gonna put another kickboard on the bottom, that way I can panel it off, panel on the other side, so on, and then insulate that, put a board on top, and I'm good. So that's another task off the list. And I don't know what yet I'm gonna do about the top area. Again, whatever I do, it's not gonna go past that windowsill there. And then I'm addressing the chair, couch. They gotta wait for me. I had to clean up real quick. I gotta go to Joey Small's playoff game. I hope you guys got some good usage out of the video. I know they're kind of long and kind of all over the place sometimes, but on the next episode, I'm hoping to work on my couch, which is tomorrow, depending on the weather. What else? Oh, and I'll explain why you notice that none of the panels on my walls are up, or my flooring. Be good to each other. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Oh, Biggs loves you. Deuces. And thanks for watching.